Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where we are currently pushing back Ukraine over in this direction. Now we'd really like to push out over this way, and the real question is, do we feel like that's a viable thing to do right now? We've successfully pushed out a couple of times. Every time we pushed out here, they've responded with significant force. So for now, I think we continue to push over here and see what happens, and use this as a distraction if we need to pull forces away from here. So for now, let's just continue with what we've got here, and we do have, okay, the instant autosave, I like it, and then we do have this hub over here, which does need to be upgraded. Of course, we're working on the railway for this. That'll just take a little bit of time. And in the meantime, of course, we are building up defenses everywhere we're taking, in hopes of not being able to be pushed out of that. So we immediately got pushed out of here, but we'll get that built. We'll see if we manage to arrive there in time or not. We got pushed out again. Okay, now we have a sufficient force up here. So we definitely want to get that built up. We want to get all of this built up, about like that. Okay, so we're keeping an eye out on the situation over this direction, but this is our primary focus right now, pushing up to here. And then from there, we might look at taking like this oil field that's out over here. We don't need the oil, but depriving them of the oil would not be bad. So if we were to push up something like this and then take out this area down here, that would consolidate our line a little bit. But Ukraine is very, very wide. That's a bit of an issue for us. So we need to be thinking about that for sure. These sorts of narrow engagements are best for us, but we'll see what happens if they start bringing in additional forces over this way. I also want to check in on infrastructure over here. Okay, it's good. Noted. So where's the next logistics hub? Rostov-on-Don. Okay, that makes sense. So the question is, are we going to want a logistics hub before then or not? The answer is yes. I want to build one about here. We'll see if we take that anytime soon. We're starting to run into some logistics issues here. Ooh, we got pushed out of this area. Can we take that back? I want, like, these tanks over here. They're going the wrong way, and I can't stop them because they're being attacked over this direction. Okay, we might get pushed back a little bit here. I think overall our position is okay. They're piling a lot of forces in right here, though, and I'm thinking about launching this attack over here again as a distraction. So this guy would be like division recovery rate, probably, and then out over here we'd go for army regrouping, I think. Okay. So for the moment, we're going to let them exhaust their attack over on this side, and in the meantime, we're going to attack over here ourselves, if we can. We're going to have a hard time pushing out over here, because of course we built up this land fort level. But we're going to get this going, and we're going to see if we can lessen some of the strain out over here. Now, what's Ukraine at for their manpower at this moment? 4 to 5. That's definitely going down. Okay, they've taken 17 million losses. That is absolutely noted. So there's a lot of land going back and forth over here, which is not necessarily ideal. I'm thinking about halting the attack that is out over this way. And I'm also noting that we're down to 22 out of 30 tanks. I think we were at 24 previously, but these 4 can definitely be moved in here. And we can also move some tanks from here. Like that. Okay. But yeah, just the land going back and forth like that is not very ideal. So for the moment, we're just going to dig in here. And we're going to see if we can get them to exhaust themselves. That'll be ideal. Do we have another attack ongoing here? Because I feel like we're attacking a lot here. I also feel like it's mostly this army group that's doing it. So that would be this army group here. Yeah. I feel like they should stop. But we're not going to do any, like, large-scale organized attacks here right now. So we do have this area right here, and I'd love to bring some reinforcements over to here to help hold this. I don't want to actually move all of these. So I'm going to have these guys hang out here, whereas these are going to move over. Okay. So something kind of like that. They are having some supply issues of their own right now. But we were pushed back on this flank, and so we're just going to hang out here for the moment. And let's see how much they're willing to exhaust on us. We're pretty fortified over in this area. We're not as fortified as I'd like to be, but we are pretty fortified over here. So that's all fine. Out over this direction, we're actually starting to make some gains here. Let's see if we can take this. We'll keep an eye on that, but for now, this is our absolute primary focus. There is this logistical hub right here, which is doing okay in terms of its logistics now. So that looks good. We're still struggling to hold this position right now. I'm going to grab half of these infantry and move them over to help hold this. Okay, we were pushed out of that spot. That surprises me. We're pushed out of here as well. So at this point, this is starting to get a little spicy. They're going to have a much harder time pushing soon. But this is what they did over here as well. They just pile ridiculous numbers of troops in and take huge losses to push us back. That's actually kind of fine, believe it or not. So we're still building up our defenses in these areas. And for the moment, this is okay. So out over this direction, we're seeing that this attack is continuing. It's not going as well as I would have liked, for sure. So we need to start thinking about maybe opening another front. Potentially. What they're doing right now is they are shuffling around troops so that they have a large response here, and then a large response here, and then a large response here, and then a large response here. But they can only do that in one spot. We have a lot of troops in reserve right now. So what I'm thinking at this moment is we allow them to exhaust themselves attacking Yekaterinodar, which is not going well for them at all. In the meantime, we're digging in even more up over this direction. And we can launch a counterattack over here when we feel the time is right. Which, as of right now, I don't really feel like the time is right. I want to check in on our tank count. We do have tanks in stock. Okay, good to know. So that seems fine for now. And yeah, they're just repeatedly attacking us. Well, actually, this front has kind of stalled out. They're not doing too much attacking over on this side anymore. Okay. How are they doing on manpower now? Still somewhere between 5 and 5.8 million. So I want to check in up here. 17.42. Okay. I'm assuming they took some pretty heavy losses pushing us back over here. I've been keeping an eye on our manpower, and it's definitely declining. No doubt about that. We'll keep on pushing over here. I'm not too concerned about having this be like a long-term thing, but I would like to get established here. And then once we have that established, then we start pushing over here again, this time including Rostov-on-Don in our push, which will require us to cross the river here. Maybe that'll be a springtime offensive, because it is currently winter. So digging in for now seems relatively okay, and they're actually giving us a lot of time to build up over here. This is going to be very, very difficult for them to dislodge from us now. So that is excellent. We do have these extra divisions here. They're in reserve anyway, and they're fine for now. So down here, they have a distinct supply shortage. We may want to consider grabbing our tank unit that is over here. That's this guy. And specifically only pushing right here. Because I don't think that they can take those positions. Or I don't think they can hold those positions, rather. Okay, so we'll push them out over here for now. And that'll be fine. There. We now have them. And we're going to immediately begin working on building in these areas. Absolutely, we want land forts there. And this guy, at this moment... We also have this armored division here, which only has 20 in it. Okay, we must have looted this. I'm going to grab just these armored divisions, and then we're going to grab 4 of them, and we're going to put them in here. There we go. Okay, so as I was saying, I want to take Rostov-on-Don. So if we have our offensive line, not that unit, this unit. If we have our offensive line be Rostov-on-Don, and we take this side of this river, like this, that would be a huge deal for us. I want to push with the momentum that we have, and I want to have this guy also be assisting in this push this time. Okay, so we're going to push this again, and we're going to have a lot of success at the beginning until they move forces in. We're continuing to attack over here very consistently, but yeah, you can see they're shifting forces this direction. So that is something that we can probably take advantage of, that they're consistently doing this. For now, what I want to do is I want to be digging in where possible on this front line. Taking Rostov-on-Don would be a huge deal for us, of course. So we need to grab what we can here. And it looks like our offensive over here might be about to stall out a little bit. That's fine. I just want to take some ground over here, dig this in. Apparently they bombed over here. They did a critical failure raid, actually, on this oil field. We don't care about that. We have so much oil. We have all the oil we could possibly want. Okay. So we're going to be in striking range of Rostov-on-Don very shortly here. If we manage to take this position. Which, for now, is a little bit dicey, but that's understood. I'm thinking that we may want to begin construction just in case of a supply hub right here like this. That's a just in case. If we're not able to push to Rostov-on-Don, we're going to want more supplies up in this area, for sure. So I do want to get some defenses built here. They have a lot of forces in Rostov-on-Don at this moment, but they're not that well situated out over here right now. So I think we can take this position fairly easily. That'll get us a place where we can attack Rostov-on-Don from 2 angles, but we're going to have to cross the river in order to do that. Now, how are things looking over here? It's about status quo. Okay. That's mostly a distraction. This is our main push at this moment, and that should be fairly obvious to everyone involved. So they're continuing to attack right over here, and we're trying to build defenses as best we can, but there's only so much that we can do there. They're also trying to attack out over here, and I want these guys to get in here. Hit them from this flank, and that'll be fine. As soon as this attack is over, I want to attack from over here as well. So I want these guys in here. And I want these guys in here too. Push them back. So they're attacking very steadily up over this direction, which is not surprising at all. They need to hold that position desperately. They have to hold Rostov-on-Don, because if Rostov-on-Don falls, this entire region is going to be in a bad situation, logistically. So that is definitely noted. Now we're probably going to get pushed out here, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine for right now. They don't really have the force concentration to be able to do that much over this way right now. So that's definitely interesting. We're still continually attacking out over here. That's fine. And as of right now, we're still holding here. This position we might lose, which would be fine. We don't mind that. Although we have no one here right now, which is slightly problematic. And no one currently heading there either. We have basically no one on this flank. That's odd. It's because this is a fairly large force here. They're going to start heading over here. We'll see if they get there. Okay. They kind of didn't. Okay, so these guys are encircled at this moment. We gotta take this position. Okay, we're re-hooked up here. We're going to have these guys fall back if they can. Okay, they're now retreating. Get out of there. So we took some stack wipes there. Specifically, we took a unit of tank. So that's going to be this here. And then we took 3 units of infantry. So we've got plenty to restore this. But that was definitely a little sad. So that's going to be like that. Okay. So we can restore that without any major issue. We're just going to fall back here a little bit if we are allowed to. Oof. They pushed us back here again. We're attacking this again, but we took a lot of losses there. All of those units just went away. So that's a few additional tanks, 3 units of tank. That's fine. We can replace them. And we also have, I'm going to grab these 2 units of tank here. We also lost a couple of additional units of infantry here. Again, we can replace them. So I'm going to grab these, and then I'm going to grab some of these from over here. We've got plenty of these. And we have more in training, so that'll be fine. But that was definitely mildly problematic, for sure. I would have liked to be able to move those guys out, but unfortunately it just wasn't an option. Okay, we need to stop the attack over here. And I'm just going to straight up delete this. Although now what I want to do is I want to check in on what they're at. 17.56. So they've lost about 120,000 manpower since we last checked. That's definitely more than what we lost. Okay. Cease your attacks. We're digging in. So, we're going to dig in over here. We're going to make sure that we're building wherever we can over here. And we're just going to cycle forces as possible. Once again, they're going to push in and take these areas, which they've been doing fairly consistently. So, yep, they push us back to here. We're going to retreat back this direction, assuming we can. They constantly attack, and I'd like to be able to just tell these guys retreat. But unfortunately, we can't. We have more reinforcements on the way in here, and okay, we fell back to here. That's good. So from here, we're going to be in a position where they're going to have a very hard time pushing us again, right? But this sort of push and pull that's happening here, this is actually, believe it or not, working in our favor. And the reason for that is because of manpower. So we're pushed back to here once again, but they cannot push further than this. So once here, we're going to consolidate. And we're going to reinforce, and there's very little that they can do from this point. And they know that. Once again, they have supply issues down here. So we allow that to continue. We're continuing to attack this direction. I don't really care about this all that much. This is kind of minor. But I do think we should think about opening up another front. The question is, what would that front look like? If we did a naval invasion over here, we'd get pushed off quite quickly, I think. So I think it basically has to be a breakout from Crimea. So that's definitely something to consider. No doubt about that. But for right now, I think we just chill. We just let them attack us like this, and we let them exhaust themselves. There will come a point where they will stop attacking. We know that they operate in this manner, where they'll eventually stop attacking, and this will just become a stalemate. At which point, we can push out again and repeat the whole cycle. So we can see they're up to 17.6 million. They're losing manpower fast. So that's actually really, really, really good. We're continuing to do small attacks out over this direction. As of right now, I don't expect this to be that big of an issue. We have very low war support. We should probably do something about that. Let's work on bringing that all up. Fantastic. Okay. So I want to check in at this moment. So they are on service by requirement. I don't think that they can go any lower than that. We can. We are allowed to. We wouldn't necessarily want to. We can go to service by requirement, but at this moment, I don't want to. We're hanging out with our amount of manpower we've got. Once we run out, then we'll change it. But I just don't want to have the reduction in production at this moment. So they're continuing to attack us down over here. These are relatively minor attacks at this moment. I'm going to order that we attack here and here only. Only in these two locations. Okay. Let's have our infantry join in here. But yeah, I want very, very specific attacks down here. I don't want a broad attack like before. So I want these guys to attack over here again. Okay. They're moving reinforcements in over here, but this is exactly where I want to be. I want to be here, and I want to be here. So we're going to do something like this. We're letting the infantry rest back over here. Okay, so we took this position, and now this is where I want to dig in. This is likely going to encourage them to heavily attack here and here, which is exactly what I want to do. I want to be the defender, and I want them to be attacking us. We need infantry here. Why do we have 22 divisions here? I'd like them to get up over here. We lost this position because we didn't have any infantry there. So we need to take it back. Get in here, infantry. Of course, in the meantime, we're still holding this position. And that's exactly what we want. So this is fine for the moment. They are pushing us here. We're losing the battle right now. Now we're winning it again. Okay. I'm going to resume the attack here and here with our tanks. That was our infantry. That's fine. We'll also bring in the tanks over here. Okay. We were pushed back on this side. I'm not terribly shocked about that. We're trying to hold it, but not doing very well at it. But this is what we want. We just want to keep the fight going here. I don't actually care about controlling the land. I just want to be encouraging them to be attacking us. That's the goal here. We want them to attack us. So for the moment, I'm going to hold here. We're going to recover a bit. Let them attack into Yekaterinodar. And this is fine. This is completely and totally fine. I'm also thinking about moving this army into this army group. Or actually, what army group is this? This army group. Yeah, we're going to do that. And we're going to assign them to Army Group 5. Okay. So that'll be fine. They'll make their way over here. That's going to be a lot of supply, I should note. And I'm going to build a supply hub over here to help supply that. Okay. So for now, this is fine, but this falls into this stalemate. And I definitely want to encourage them to attack us because that's doing a lot in terms of driving down their manpower. Now out over here, this is fine, actually. We can stop this attack. I don't care about it. Okay. You guys should probably be defending here. I don't know why they're not. There we go. Okay, so that's all fine for now. They're still attacking us in Yekaterinodar. What we really need right now is to get that additional army over here, and I'm not sure exactly where they are. They'll get here eventually, I'm sure. This army is already here. This army is not currently moving, and that is because of supply. Get up here. Okay, so we do want to have this logistics hub up here get built. It will get built eventually, and the question is, do we want to push again? The answer is yes. I want to push out to here, and I want to push to here, but not with all of these infantry. Okay, we're going to do this. So once again, we're just trying to trigger them into attacking our prepared positions. So we take this position with no problem. I'm going to grab half of these infantry, and they're going to go here. Okay, so that looks good for now. We definitely want to defend this area if we can. Attack here, attack here. Okay, we got that. You guys can stop moving now. So there we go, and we're going to have additional reinforcements starting to flow in over here. This triggers them into attacking us, and that's exactly the kind of thing that we want at this moment. Perfect. So we're going to take this position, and we need to set up some additional logistics eventually. I'd like to push a little further here, but right now is obviously not the time for that. But they're going to have a very hard time pushing this time. Their supplies are a lot worse this time. That's interesting. I'm not sure what's different here, but something is very different. Well, it's their supplies. Their supplies are quite bad over on this side. That's interesting. The question that I have now is how long until this logistics hub is done? The answer is it's going to be a while. Oh, wow. They pushed us here. I'm shocked about that. Push them out of there. Yeah, that's what I thought. So we've got 21 units here, and that's probably why this happened. I think I looted the wrong unit there. These guys, I'm going to move into the reserve entirely. There we go. And we should probably organize this a little bit better, but for now, this seems relatively good. So at this point, I'm pretty pleased with this situation. I feel like we can push them a little bit, but they're probably going to respond and push us back. So the question is, do we need to wait until we build up more defenses in these areas? Or do we just go now that we have an additional army here? Because we do have an additional army here. I'm going to order an attack order, but only with the tanks. And it's going to be a little bit more modest of one. About like that. Only the tanks. The infantry are not going to assist in this attack. Now, we don't have that many tanks here, and we might want to consider getting a second tank army over here. That would be like this army, and we would just assign that over to this army group, like that. And then this would no longer be an army order. This would be an army group order to be like that. Okay. There we go. So we'll see if we can push them and hold the territory. That would be nice, but it is time to put a cut in here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we are going to push on in here and we will see what we can get done. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, Spock, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.